Welcome to SpellCast. Yeah, I mean...
The Gaming Wizards podcast.
Oh, well, okay. Is that part necessary?
It's the way I've been doing it.
Okay, well, fair enough. Should I redo it?
Consistency. Whatever. We've started.
So, you didn't have any ideas for a topic.
You said you did.
Yeah, the one I had kind of just like, maybe we could use this as, how much do you know of the game Night Trap?
I know what I've seen of on Game Grumps about it.
Okay, so
and I did see the article that somebody traded in a fuck ton of them to Gamers Anonymous.
Yeah, so that whole situation is kind of surreal. Basically, that Saturday, I showed up after the dude showed up with all that, because I was going there to buy a copy of Super Metroid and the gold cartridge of Ocarina of Time. It's very pretty. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so I get there, and there's just this box with all these discs of Night Trap, of all things. Now, I knew a little bit about the game because we had a copy in previously, but we didn't have, like, a box for it, so I was looking up cover art so we could, like, put it in something.
Oh, yeah?
So I knew a little bit about the game just from when I was doing that, and it was just weird to see so many copies of a single game, but Night Trap especially. But it started getting weird when, like, oh, I'm seeing all these articles on the internet, and, oh, we're on the news.
Yeah.
There's a news crew here filming stuff while I'm just, like, buffing discs or whatever.
Wait, there was an actual news crew there?
Yeah, it was just, like, a dude with a camera.
Like, somebody was
and,
actually,
like, one other person. But, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
There was actually...
That's,
yeah, he comes in with, like, a tripod, sets it up, like, records a bit of footage from the game, and records the owner talking about it and stuff, and it was just kind of weird. It was like, this is kind of cool, but weird.
Somebody on Reddit, like, posted... Oh, it was the Game Grumps subreddit, actually.
Yeah.
They were talking about how... And it was a Kotaku article, and I'm like, huh, that sounds interesting. It's like, oh, it's an Albuquerque used game store. Oh, it's Gamers Anonymous. I wonder if John knows anything about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was, like, your Gamers Anonymous or the one that's, like...
The one that's, like, way out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, it was ours, and it's so weird. Like, we still have a bunch of copies, but it was weird, because, like, there were people who were coming in, like, the next couple of days, like, looking for copies. Like, even the camera guy who was, like, recorded, he bought a copy, like, one of the boxed ones, and, like, his exact words were, like, I'm not really a gamer, I don't really play video games, but I figure I should pick up a copy because this is kind of like a cool novelty thing.
It's like finding a copy of E.T.
Yeah,
like I've seen copies of E.T. at Goodwill every once in a while, like the Atari version. And
yeah,
like, huh. I almost want to buy that, even though I will probably never own an Atari, just because is like
E.T.
a piece of gaming history right here.
Yeah. So, I mean, Night Trap's kind of interesting. Apparently, it actually has a decent value on it. Like, a copy can run up to, like, $30 to $40.
Wow.
We're selling them off cheap because we have
you've got a fuck ton
fucking
of them.
many of them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, the game's just, like, this weird part of gaming history, and now, like, Albuquerque history? Just like fucking E.T.?
Yeah, I was gonna say, even E.T. was, like, buried out in the New Mexico desert. Like, New Mexico is where you go to get games that nobody wanted.
I guess so, dude.
Like, that's just what we've become. Aliens and E.T. So, aliens.
Yeah, aliens and aliens. And Night Trap. Which
and
is
now Night
vampires?
Trap, or something.
Yeah.
They were never clear on the story. Like, it's not... I don't know. Like I said, all I know is what I've learned from Game Grumps about it. And apparently it was partially responsible for the creation of the game rating system.
Yeah. It was this huge, like, thing, like, oh my god!
It's so controversial, it's violent, it's like...
And, like, if you see the scene, like, even the bad version where, like, you don't catch the thing, like, it's not...
like 80s B-movie horror.
I think Troll 2 is more terrifying. And not just because, like, it's really bad and it's terrifying because, oh my god, who thought this was a good idea? Like, scary factor that's more terrifying.
It's just... I think it's because it was like an 80s kind of like, oh, there's a bunch of girls running around and they're going to die horribly. It's just like
But yeah,
I get why somebody would probably have an issue with that then, but at the same time, even for then, that's just, I mean,
yeah.
If that was a horror movie, it probably would have been PG-13.
At best.
At best.
Yeah. I could definitely see that movie being like PG-13 at its worst.
Yeah.
Like
nowadays it's probably PG-13. PG. I mean, probably just PG.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it maybe being PG.
It would be a heavy PG,
yeah,
like borderline PG-13.
Like there's maybe one or two things that would drop it into PG-13 from like some of the other scenes I've seen just from looking up videos, because it's just like I should look up more on this game just because, like, fuck it, we have 200 copies. Part of me is like, I kind of want to just try to play through it, and part of me is like, no, I'm just gonna fail. So one thing
it's a game about watching security cameras and keeping bad stuff from happening.
Which, in theory, could be cool.
I want it to be Halloween so goddamn bad.
Yeah, no, I look forward to playing that. That'll be a fun night, to say the least.
I almost want to buy the game and play it myself. Just, like, knowing that you'll be the one who's blind in our stream of it. We're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, by the way, if that wasn't clear.
Yeah.
We're not playing Night Trap. I don't...
Are you sure we're not playing Night Trap?
Well, I mean, it is night, and you do kind of get trapped. And, I mean, there's the whole watching security cameras thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I had to do, like, an equation for Five Nights at Freddy's, it would be Night Trap plus Slender.
Okay. I could see that.
Plus, maybe, I don't know what... I think there has to be, like, some third thing in there, because, I mean, it's got, like, kind of a supernatural-ish element to it, but it's mostly the fact that there's these normally kid-friendly things that basically murder you.
Yeah.
And Slender doesn't really get that, but there's the whole... I don't know, Slender's kind of become, like, my go-to horror comparison, actually, now that I think about it.
Really?
Yeah, just, like... When you think about it, Slender is a really, like, stripped-down horror experience.
That's true.
Like, you go get things, something is chasing you. Stay away from it.
Yeah. No, that's...
And that's, like, basically it, until you get... And you get into more levels, and there's more things chasing you. Stay away from them, get the things, and go.
And with how kind of, like, random the Slender Man's movement is, like, you're on, like, this constant state of tension, like...
Exactly.
Where is it gonna pop up at me next? But then, like, when you do run into it, and you start going the other way as fast as possible,
and that's when he teleports right in front of you, and you're like, oh, fuck, why?
Well, like... Once you run into it and, like, you're running away, usually it, like, unless you're, like, really far in, you do get kind of, like, this brief moment of, okay, it was over there, I'm going this way now, I should be okay for at least a little bit.
A few seconds at the least.
You get a slight moment of, like, cooling down after your initial panic.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense, because it's...
I think it does a good job with
if you keep it tense, like, all the time, eventually it's just like, yeah...
Yeah.
He's right behind me. Big fucking deal. Oh, look, a page.
Yeah. But I do think they make a good use of sound with, like, as you find pages, like, the audio, like, builds upon itself and gets more and more tense. I think they did a really good job with that in that game. Like,
even in the original, like, prototype version.
Yeah.
Like, you pick up the first one and then suddenly the drums, and it's like, oh god, there's drums. Oh god, everything is... Oh Jesus, I'm gonna die.
I actually
I'm gonna turn around, he's not gonna be there. I'll be like, okay, I can keep going. I turn around, oh Jesus, fuck!
I actually haven't played the new one yet, the Slender the Arrival.
It's difficult. I actually haven't cleared the first level. I've seen like video of stuff further in, so I need to get around to doing that one. But there's like the intro level where you like go through the house and everything, and then you go through the forest, and that's the one that was in the demo.
Right.
And then there's another one where you go through like a warehouse or a mine shaft or something. I'm not sure. I forget what it was.
Huh.
But then there's like more guys that start chasing you that aren't the Slender Man. Like it's I think they're from a different creepypasta story, but they're not the masked guys from Marble Hornets. But they kind of look like them at first. But from what I've seen, you shine your flashlight at them and they kind of like they kind of cringe and back away, and that's how you keep them away. But the Slender Man's still following you around too.
Oh, lovely.
So you need to watch out for him too.
Lovely. No,
yeah,
that's great. It's great. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. So
fuck that.
So the first area is like, you know, Slender Man. It's just basically, you know, Slender. And then there's more stuff that starts chasing. And I can only assume there's another level where more stuff starts coming after you, and it just gets into this big old clusterfuck.
You know what else I think made a good use of sound was ImScared, a pixelated nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, everything in that game is very low res. Like,
what
you
it
could
lacks
draw
in graphics,
that game
it makes
in
up for
MS
an
Paint.
atmosphere.
Yeah. But, like, it has a good atmosphere, and even though the sounds are, like, kind of ear-splitting, there's no real volume control, so playing it with headphones is slightly painful. But I still think there's like a good use of it.
There's that particular sound that lets you know you are going to fucking die. Or the game will crash and place a mysterious text file somewhere on your computer, and then it'll tell you how to actually do stuff. It's like...
That game...
On one hand, that's kind of cool that you can do that. On the other hand, don't fuck with my computer!
Like, everything's contained in the folder you put it in, but it's still just, like, eerie.
You can do that?
Like,
wait, what?
Oh. Like, I remember the first time I attempted recording it, I got to the second part of the game where you're running through, like, the parking lot and it's chasing you, and I got caught. And, like, I got caught, there was, like, another text file that popped up or something, and I just stopped right there. I was just like, nope, I'm done. Fuck this. Nope, I'm done. Later, I went back to re-record it because I wanted to finish it, and that's the one that I ended up putting up, and I started over from the beginning. And at first, like, I get to the parking lot area, and I don't get caught, and I get past that part, and you go through this door, and it just pops up like the end screen or whatever, and I'm like,
at first I'm just
like, really? That's it? Like, I should have gotten caught. Like, that would have been more interesting. There would have been more to it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I go to close it, and then it pops back up on you, and it's just like, yeah, fuck you. I'm trolling you. The thing just starts spinning around you. I'm just like, oh, I think I just shat out my heart. Like, it's one of those things where just, it totally got me with that part where it's just like, the end. I'm like, oh, really? And then I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm still going. I don't want to still be going.
Jesus Christ.
But I do think after that bit, it does kind of go a little more, like, downhill. Like, it's not as tense after that.
Yeah. Like,
but it still has its moments.
Like, when you're exploring the house and you have to, like, find all those...
Yeah.
And then it's... Like, nothing actually happens to you at that point. From then until, like, the end of the game. It's just... Like, stuff kind of gets a little weird, but nothing actually gets you.
Yeah.
As I recall.
Yeah, it's less tense. Like, it's still a little tense because you think something's going to happen, but nothing ever does, so it kind of, like, at the end, it's like, okay. But I think it's a really good experience. Like, it's something worth playing through.
Yeah.
For those who are interested in horror games and are willing to look past the, like, low visual quality of the game and get into the mechanics of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I could take or leave that, honestly. Like, I don't think it really makes much of an impact on the experience, really. It's just like, that's the graphical choice they went for. Okay, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, the face itself is, like, the focus of the game. And you usually don't see that long enough to even notice that it's pixelated.
Yeah. I mean...
Because it just, like, comes at you and it's like, oh, Jesus. Oh, where'd the game go? What's this text file? Okay.
But, I want to play more horror games. I want to start recording those again, because they're tense, and I definitely, like, there are a lot of games where, like, at the end, I just kind of sit there for a second, like, Like, when I first played through Slender, like, at the end where it caught me, I wasn't expecting it at all. I flipped. And, like, at that time, the game would close itself down after you got caught. So, like, it closed itself down, and since I was recording with Fraps stopped recording.
Oh, yeah.
But I sat there for, like, another full minute just, like, heavily breathing, like, trying to catch my breath, like, okay, alright.
Okay.
But
let's go do that again!
Fuck that game, dude.
You are gonna love Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I will. I look forward to playing that. I still want to get to Outlast.
Oh, yeah. I need to get back to that, actually. I got distracted from that a while ago.
I've heard mostly good things about it.
Yeah.
And I still want to play Amnesia 2. I've heard it's not as good as the first one, but I still want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still better than most horror games that I would compare it to. It's not as good as the first one.
Okay.
Like, the first one kind of had a focus on collect things that you can use to keep yourself from dying, and the second one is more like go from point A to point B, get the story, go to point C, get more story, don't get caught by the thing, get more story. And it's there's a little bit of run and hide from this thing, run and hide from that thing, but there's nothing that you really pick up. There's no inventory or anything. There's no sanity meter. It's just pretty much the only gameplay element is really don't get caught by the monster.
Okay.
And even that doesn't really take effect until, like, the last 15 minutes of the game, really.
Sad.
Yeah.
Well,
it could have been better. Like, I like the story. The story is creepy as hell. And appropriately Lovecraftian as the previous Amnesia was. A different, like, kind of it, because...
Right.
I mean, the first one kind of had the, like, extra-dimensional, otherworldly abominations, and the second one is more like, holy crap, how can a human possibly think to do that to a human? Truly, we are depraved creatures and not worthy to live.
Fair
so,
enough.
I mean, I like that it went that way with it, instead of just, like, how can we outdo cosmic, otherworldly abomination? Humanity! There you go!
It's terrible because it's true. You know, actually, that gave me an interesting thought. So, the Insidious movies, the first one is very otherworldly, right?
Yeah.
The second one...
To a fault, I would say, at some points.
Yeah, perhaps.
Where it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
The second one focuses on, like, because you remember how the first one ended, where, like, the dad's possessed or whatever?
Yeah.
By, like,
I vaguely remember that. It was kind of, honestly, a little forgettable.
Yeah, it's a bit forgettable. I actually called the ending, like, 30 minutes in. But,
still better than Paranormal Activity.
As soon as they mentioned that the kid was, like, able to, like, dreamwalk or whatever word they use for it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's able to do it because his dad's able to do it. And then the dad's going to have to go in there to get him. And he's going to get back and everything's going to seem okay except the dad actually got possessed. And then, like, and fast forward 1 hour. Oh, look what happened! But, what they did with the sequel for that movie, and I think it makes it for a more... I don't know if it's a scarier movie, but I would say it's a more interesting movie story-wise. So it focuses on, like, the spirit that infected the dad was, like, the spirit that was, like, following him and trying to possess him as a kid that you saw in the photos, which looked like this old lady. And what you find out through the story of the movie is that it wasn't actually an old lady, it was a old man who dressed as an old lady, who was a serial killer.
Oh, of course.
And, like, it's just, like, a much more interesting narrative, like, watching it unfold and then, like, figure out, like, oh! So, I think, just for some reason, like, you mentioning how, like, the second Amnesia kind of goes more towards, like, what's worse than otherworldly abominations? Humanity!
Yeah.
And I was like, Insidious kind of does the same thing. And what I like about what they did with that one is, one, like I said, it may not be scarier, but it is more interesting narrative. And they did wrap everything up, but the ending is open enough to where, like, they probably could make another movie, and if it was written as well as the second one was, I think it could do well. Like, I think it could be a good movie, because they have, like, a good premise to work with. But if they make a third one, there's a good chance they'll fuck it up. Because, let's be honest here, how many series do they not fuck up after 3?
I would argue very few. But yeah, on the subject of it wrapping up the story, the second Amnesia is actually completely different. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I think it's even a different time period. Like, there's like, vague connections to what happened in Dark Descent, but overall, the only way you can actually tell that they're in the same universe is that there's, like, the orb with, like, the weird power and stuff. It's not even, like, a thing, really. Like, it's mentioned in, like, the guy's journal and stuff, but it never actually plays a part in the story as you experience it until, like, the very end.
I didn't think the second one actually had anything to do with the first one, so...
Yeah, like, it's like Silent Hill, how they're in the same universe, kind of, but different characters, different story.
Right.
And there might be, like, some kind of background connection between them.
Shit, speaking of Silent Hill, how badly do you want to play the new one that's going to be
I want to get a PS4 just for Silent Hills.
Yeah.
Hell, like, I want to get one just for the PT demo.
Yeah, dude.
I've watched, 5 Let's Plays of that, and that fucking jump scare makes me jump every time. Even when I'm expecting, it's like, okay, it's gonna happen now. Alright, he says, look behind you. Don't look behind you. Ah, Jesus Christ, why'd you look behind you? Oh my god, I want to get a PS4 just for Silent Hills.
Yeah. Like,
Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima. That's either the best or worst combination I've ever heard of.
I like how, like, I guess there was, like, the interview or whatever where, like, Kojima's like, we want to make a really scary game, but it would alienate players, and in the end we decided, fuck it.
Good for you! That's the way to go about game design.
It's like, this is too scary. We might alienate some of our audience. Fuck it. We'll just make this scary as shit.
Like, well, we could make it less scary and less people want to play it. Or we could just make it scary as all shit and people will still want to play it because, I mean, how many people have made a game that's legitimately scary as shit? I mean, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I do kind of want a PS4 just for that. But at the same time, I'm like, as much as I want to play that, I will wait on a PS4 as long as possible. Like, perhaps when the PS5 comes out, I don't know.
And then you'll finally play Silent Hills.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, I didn't pick up a PS3 until a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So
I still don't have one.
Yeah.
I only got a 3DS, like, last week.
And now there's going to be a new one with a whole 2 extra buttons.
Fucking Nintendo.
For, like, one game.
Yeah. I'm not even mad that they're making a new 3DS, because, like, whatever. But then I heard that there's going to be some games that will only play on the new 3DS, and I'm like, god damn it. I just got your last system!
Yeah.
And now you're pushing out this new shit, which... I'm partially mad because it's going to make the existing 3DS even cheaper, so I could probably get an even better deal on it now. But now there's going to be shit that I can't play on that I'm going to want to play.
Apparently there was somewhere that was having someone came in and was telling me about it. Like, I guess there was some place that was having sales on them for like $50.
Fucking seriously?
Yeah.
Like new ones? Or used ones?
I think they were used. I'm not 100%
well, still,
sure,
I mean...
But still.
Fucking goddamn it.
Yeah.
That's what happens, isn't it? You finally you think you got a good deal on something, and then someone's like, "Hey, we're selling it for even cheaper now." The day after you bought yours. Like, really?
Yeah.
And it's like buying a game on Steam and then it goes on sale for 75% off. Like, god damn.
That's why I don't buy games for full price,
yeah.
like, ever. I think the only game I've bought for full price in the last, like, 3 years is Shovel Knight. Worth it every penny.
I want to say the last one I bought full price was Portal 2 because I pre-ordered it. Because that was how much I wanted it.
Yeah. Like, no, I pre-ordered Portal 2 as well.
I want this game, and Valve deserves all my money for it. But yeah, the reason I buy games like on sale is I'm not a cheapskate. I'm fucking broke.
Me, it's just kind of like I could buy this game for full price, but I know it's going to go on sale, and I can buy more games if I'm just buying them on sale.
Yeah,
and I mean, there are some games that I will buy at full price.
Well, because some of them are ridiculously cheap to begin with, like $5, $10.
Well, they're cheap, or just like, I want to play the game that badly. Like, I think I ended up, actually, come to think of it, I think I ended up buying Transistor for full price. At best, it was maybe like 10% off.
Yeah,
as opposed to like waiting like I initially wanted. I was just like, I need to play this game.
It's not like, Call of Duty or something where it comes out and it's $60 fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, if every game was that price, you buy 3 of those, and that's the price of a console. In theory.
I think a big part of that is just like, they have such huge budgets for those games.
Yeah.
They have to make
They have to sell them for ridiculous prices to make back what they spent on it.
Well, like, the company has to make back their money, the store has to make their cut, and it's like, well, we just have to make the same game because it sells consistently.
Exactly. Indie gaming is gonna just, like, destroy, like, the big name companies.
Yeah.
Just because they're, I mean, if you don't spend millions of dollars on your game, you don't have to charge a ridiculous price or do, like, these indie games don't even have, like, these ridiculous ad campaigns. Like, somebody on YouTube will, like, review it or let's play it, and somebody will see it and be like, hey, that looks like a fun game. I'm going to tell my friends about it. I'm going to play it myself. Maybe I'll do a let's play of it. And then before you know it, fucking everybody and their dog has let's played it and bought it.
Yeah.
And you've made back the, like, $100 you spent hiring a musician or whatever you spent on it.
Right.
Because you didn't spend $12 million on it.
Yeah, $12 million for the cuttingest edge of graphics, and I think that's a good thing for those games. Like, the nice thing too about, like, indie games, like, they don't need an ad budget at all. They can just, like, they can make their game and they can just give it to a let's player, like, hey, we made this game. Could you play this for us?
We'll give you a free copy. We're not asking for a review. We're not asking for a good review. Just play it and tell everybody what you think of it. Hopefully you like it, but if you don't, we'll understand. I mean, we gave you a free copy.
The owner at the computer shop, he went to PAX, and he played a...
Lucky bastard.
Yeah. He got, like, he was mostly there for, like, business stuff, but, he got to play some games while there, and there was this, like, MOBA that this company is working on that he played a bit of it, and he talked with them, like, hey, would you guys like to do a LAN of your game in like a month or something at our shop? We'll have like a 40-seat LAN and it'll be tons of testing for you. And they're like, yes!
Fuck yeah!
So I'm looking forward to that.
That's
as
awesome.
far as getting to play games that aren't out there yet. Because apparently it's really good. Like, it's a MOBA style game. So, you have that style of gameplay, Dota, League of Legends.
Yeah.
But it's more like Smite. I don't know how much you know about Smite, where it's kind of like third person.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot more like skill oriented as opposed to like point and click oriented. So
interesting. I probably still won't get into it because, I mean, I don't know.
Those games are definitely a time sink. Like, you have to sink a significant amount of time to have the skill level required to really get into that.
And even the games themselves, like, in general, when on the rare occasion I play League of Legends, a game usually lasts like 40 minutes at least.
Yeah.
That's assuming everyone on my team doesn't suck and we don't get steamrolled right away. Or vice versa, everybody on the other team sucks and we just like
steamroll them.
Turret, what's the
inhibitor,
and then the Nexus or whatever it is.
Yeah, Nexus.
Yeah, okay. I was like, wait, no, Nexus. That's Castle or Dungeon Defenders or something. No, that's the Crystal.
Yeah. See,
I'm getting all my fucking games like that mixed up now. It's like, yeah, they all seem the same to me.
They kind of are, honestly. League actually for their new champion, they're doing like an event for him where they have a temporary game mode. It's only lasting for like 2 weeks or something, but it's called Ascension. So there's like, it's played on the Dominion map. I don't know if you've ever played that game mode.
No,
that one's basically like capture the point.
No, I never played that.
Okay,
I'm bad enough at regular League of Legends.
But so Ascension is like all skirmishing. So the whole objective is the team's supposed to get to 200 points, and you get points a few different ways. The first way is to kill an enemy. That's 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 areas that spawn a relic, and if you capture the relic, you basically just sit there and channel on it for a couple seconds.
So
that's 3 points. In the middle, there's the Ascended, and he's basically like the raid boss.
Oh.
You go in there and you kill him. That's 5 points. When you kill him, whoever gets the killing blow becomes Ascended. So they get like all these stat buffs, but they also get a couple of debuffs. Like they get debuffed on healing effects and stuff, so they can't like sustain as long. But then killing them is 5 points for the enemy team, and then the one in the middle respawns. But when you're Ascended,
it's like a capture the point, oddball kind of hybrid thing.
It's really just like skirmishing. It's just kill each other, and you can come and like grab these things to get some extra points if you want. So, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's fun. I would recommend it if like you get a chance to play a little bit. Just try it out, because there's some stuff that you can do that are just like silly, like taking characters like Teemo and just running around putting mushrooms everywhere. I've had a couple Teemos on my team.
I've played Teemo before.
He's fun.
Yeah.
He's always on duty.
I don't think I was ever actually very good with him. I just liked him because he kind of played similar to Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch is like my guy. He's my dude. I can kill things with Twitch.
I know for a while there, Twitch was like top tier. Like he was the one that everyone was using for high level play. I don't know if he still is. I don't really. I like to follow, like, if I just happen to catch some of the pro games, I like to watch them because it's interesting to like see, like, especially like as much as I've played the game, I do have a good understanding of it, and seeing like some of the moves some people make, it's just like, how do you think like that? But
you spend every hour of every day playing the game.
I mean, they make a decent living off of it, so you know, it's like, fuck it, go for it, guys. But
I will never be as good as you, therefore I see no point in even playing the fucking game.
But it's fun to watch the pro streams. Like, I don't make it a point to, like, catch every single one, but if I do catch them, I will sit there and watch it, because, like I said, they're interesting. It's kind of funny, because, like, they have, they started, like, a fantasy league, like fantasy football, how it's, like, you basically, like, choose players, and depending on how they do in their game, like, you get points, and you're usually going up against someone else's, like, chosen team of players. They have that for League of Legends now.
Interesting. I was never actually clear on how fantasy football worked. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, I guess that's the thing that people do. And
yeah.
They talk about it. I don't get it. I don't like football. I don't like sports.
Yeah, I don't like sports either.
Facebook, stop telling me about sports.
I don't like sports either. Yet, like, League of Legends plays exactly like a sport. Like, watching it is exactly like watching a sport. It's someone else doing something that you could do yourself. Like, well, like, not to that level of skill, but, like, you know, you could go out and play football yourself.
Yeah.
But more people enjoy watching it than playing it.
Yeah, but like with games and games like League of Legends and that kind of stuff in particular, there's a lot more strategy in general, I would think, than necessarily having people who are strong and able to kick a ball further than somebody else.
Fair. I can kind of see that point.
I mean, I don't watch streams or tournaments or anything either, so I mean, like, when it comes to games, I would prefer to play rather than watch somebody play. The exception is if I'm watching a Let's Player that I'm familiar with, or somebody recommends, like, oh, you should watch this guy play this game, he's really funny. Like, I don't watch it necessarily just for the game.
You're watching it
for
the
reaction
people.
to the game and what's happening and how good or bad they are at the game.
I think that's the other thing with League that makes it fun to watch is the commentators they have are, like, entertaining. Like, they're usually just like, oh, holy shit, what the fuck's going on? Like, they're just as surprised about, like, some of the crazy plays people will do as, like, you are. Like, oh, man, why would you do that? That's, like, it goes against every rational thought. Like, you would never do this in this situation, and then they go and do it. And it's just like, what are they doing? Why is it working?
Like, what the fuck? Not only did you do something you're not supposed to do, it worked! What?
The funniest game I ever watched, though, there was one of the matches, I think it was during the Season 2 championships, where basically neither team was really, like, doing anything. Like, either team could have gone for Baron, which is, you know, a huge objective, but neither of them would do it. They kept just, like, placing, like, wards all over the place. And it got to the point where, like, nothing was happening for so long, everyone in the crowd started cheering whenever someone would destroy a ward. It was like, yeah, get that ward!
Wow.
It was the ward battle of the century.
Just like a complete standoff, like, nobody wants to do anything.
No one wanted to do anything, because as soon as someone would do something, like, that would have been it. And finally, if I remember right, that was one of the games where they were having, like, issues with the stream or something. So, like, they finally get to a point where something happens, and, like, the team's pushing for the win. They were probably going to win that in the next, like, 10 seconds, and everything crashes, and they have to replay the game. It was the worst.
Oh, that's terrible.
They had so many issues that year, but everything since then, like, they've done so well in the past. Like, now everything's, like, super well done and stuff.
10
like,
seconds from victory,
crazy.
Everything crashes. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Can we just take that as a win? Like, we won, right? I mean, it was GG, right?
They were, like, pushing down the inhibitor, heading towards the Nexus, and, like, personally, I can see no way they weren't winning. Like, at that point in the game, the respawn timers were so long, there had to have been no way the other team could have come back, but they were far enough from, like, actually being, like, there taking the Nexus that I guess they were just like, it's scrapped. Like, the game wasn't finished, so...
Did they win when they replayed?
I think so. I think that same team ended up winning. Like, if I remember right, they ended up having to play, like, 5 games in a best-of-3 match.
Oh.
Because they had, like, 2 instances of that.
Wow.
Where shit would crash.
Technical problems.
Aren't they the best? Everyone loves technical problems.
Yeah.
I like technical problems that lose us all our audio.
And video.
Well, to be fair...
On separate occasions, but...
To be fair...
that
was human error.
I've just had a brilliant idea.
Okay.
We take all of our Braid footage...
And put
the Mega Man audio over it.
I mean, one, there's not enough Mega Man audio
know.
for the Braid footage. There's only 3 hours of footage. But it might be kind of funny for, like, that first hour that we do have the audio for, just to see how badly it contrasts.
Like, oh shit, run away from the missiles! You're, like, jumping over a mushroom.
Yeah.
Or, like, you're like, reversing time and...
Braid is one of the very few games on my Steam list that I've actually, like, uninstalled and, like, I don't currently have installed. Like, I install everything on my Steam list. I have the hard drive space for it, so I'm like, fuck it. But Braid I uninstalled and I'm never reinstalling that game. I'm just... Losing
like, no,
that...
This is me giving you the finger. Go away! Like I don't want to speak to you ever again.
The worst part was, like, it was a good Let's Play. I think we had good commentary and stuff on that one.
And we have nothing to show for it.
And we just have footage of me, like, failing a bunch and eventually beating the game. It's, like, what, 3 hours of footage?
Yeah, it's like 3 hours.
But...
We have talked about that, right? Like,
yeah, I think we've mentioned it. But without the audio, it's just like, well, it's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we have mentioned it.
Just in case, if anyone's unclear on what we're talking about, we were going to do a Braid Let's Play. We recorded it all in one sitting, about 3 hours, and then we found out that Livestream dropped our audio right at the beginning. So we have about 3 hours of Braid footage with none of us talking over it.
Yup. And as far as Mega Man goes, because I think this will be going up before the Mega Man finale actually goes up.
Probably. Maybe the same day, I don't know.
So earlier, we were recording some Mega Man Legends, and I clicked the wrong button when I started the footage. There's a preview button and a recording button. I clicked the preview button, so it didn't actually save any of what was being
Unlike
recorded.
live stream, preview mode doesn't save anything. So we don't even have 5 minutes of footage.
Yeah, we got a whole zero footage with like good hour 20 minutes or so, I think, of audio.
Yeah, it was like an hour 20 minutes.
Yeah. Part of me is like, well, maybe we could use that. Like, at first I was like, well, maybe we could take the audio and, like, put it with, like, some, like, really shoddy animation or something.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, like the
only
way we're going to use this audio is if we animate something for it.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that.
Almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, no,
that's
bad.
Like, let's see, 15-minute episodes, 15, 20...
Well,
15,
so
30.
After I thought about that, I had this realization of,
it's like
wait
5
a minute,
episodes.
We don't have any of the game's audio, though. We just have our commentary.
Yeah.
So, like, there'd be no game audio to put context to the parts where we're, like, silent listening to, like, cutscenes.
Yeah.
There were a couple of moments where we were kind of trying to listen to the cutscenes, so we would stop talking for a little bit.
And so, there's none of that, too.
Yeah, so there would just be awkward pauses, and then us, like, making, like, a penis joke about something someone said. Because I'm pretty sure...
Well, no, that made it into the credits, though.
Well, yeah, no.
That particular one.
We at least have that from the credits, but I think there was a couple other moments like that, like, during the recording.
Yeah, probably.
I know there was the part about... How do you fix machines? You kick it in the balls, and there are no balls. It's just a cylinder. I'm like, well, that's close enough. that's groinish enough.
We display the utmost maturity with our humor.
Oh yeah, especially in Mega Man.
Especially.
Like, I think like previous games, most of it is like us cussing out the game because we fell into a pit.
Like, God
because
fucking
we
damn it.
jumped into
God
spikes.
fucking damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it, you asshole bitch, fucking fuckity fuck.
I think Mega Man Legends is the first time where we're just like, haha, penis jokes. Like, we just go into, like, the highest of high-class humor.
Well, I mean, there was a little bit of that in Bastion, too. I mean...
Yeah.
Replacing Calamity with butts. They didn't.
At least those were started around the same time, so
yeah.
I think what I say kind of still stands. I don't know if we really had much of that in, like, previous games. Maybe a little bit in, like, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, I was going to say in Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger's so long, there's no way there's not a single penis joke in
I guarantee you there's got to be at least one. But I like to think the majority of the humor in that came from the ridiculous character names and voices.
Yeah.
As we try to recapture the spirit of FF6.
I think we got
debatable
close.
Success.
We got close.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's no beating Yahar McTits.
Yahar the pirate.
It's funny, too, because that's become kind of like a... Like,
yeah, you mentioned that, how, like, people...
But other people I know get it because of just me talking, like, saying it and then, like, explaining it. So, It's this weird, like, in-joke that the only people who truly understand it are me and you, because
Like,
we were actually there.
We get it, and everybody else understands it. They don't necessarily get it.
Yeah.
But they understand, like, that's that joke from that thing. Okay.
Yeah. It's same with my whole Begek thing.
Yeah.
Not really anyone fully understands Begek, and I actually want to find footage from that movie and, like, edit it and just throw it on YouTube with me just adding Begek over the parts where I would have when we were watching it, because I feel like I need to share that with the world. It's important to me. Quite. But yeah.
Sorry, I was distracted by a television that is on in the background.
Yeah. No. I kind of left it on because I want to catch Helsing.
Understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a good place to kind of wrap it down. What do you say?
We're only at 46 minutes, damn it. We have to go for an hour and a half this time. No, I'm kidding.
Because our times are constantly inconsistent.
No, we have to go for 2 hours this time. Like every time we do it, it has to be a different amount of time. So, like, we could go as low as 30 minutes, and then the next one will be, like, 2 hours, and the next one will be, like, an hour, and then it'll be, like, 40 minutes. Just all over the place. Like, if you graph our time, it's going to be like...
Clearly, we need to start recording these to where if you were to graph our time, it, like, made a picture of something.
Why do I have a feeling our minds have both gone to the same exact place?
Well, I was thinking, like half of, like, Mega Man's silhouette.
You weren't thinking of a penis at all.
No, I wasn't. Not
the fact that we were just
talking.
The fact that we were just talking about penis jokes, and your mind didn't go to making a graph shaped like a penis.
No, until you said, "I think our minds are going to the same place," I did not think of penis at all. I was like, it could be like Mega Man or something, or like Samus's ship, you know, like the contours at the top of her ship.
Yeah, that would. Well, I don't know how recognizable it would be with one line. Like, it would be the top of it, and maybe.
I don't know. It was like ideas, nothing concrete. But yeah, whatever.
Thanks for listening, I guess.
To our ramblings of penis jokes.
Yeah. We talked about stuff. Next week, we'll talk about more stuff.
Just sitting down, doing a quick test while the screen does its thing, and I sketch Leko as Robico. I wanted to do him as Frog, but I can't think of a good way to make Leko look like Frog. There's not enough, like, stuff I could do to the face. And I'm still not sure I'm going to make him look like Robo. I don't know. How can I make Leko look like Robo?
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't know.
Let's do Frog.
I don't know how I could make him do Frog either, though. I guess
like
put the things, or...
With the armor and the cloak and the sword and shield.
Like, we usually just do the heads. That's where I'm, like, more having the issue. It's like, we usually just do the heads, but there's not a lot to do with the head. That's awesome.
It does more damage the less HP he has. And there are enemies that do attacks that knock you to 1.
Oh, that's just fantastic. I got it. This is gonna look weird, but I think I got it.
You're not gonna draw him as Luca, are you?
No. Do you want me to?
Well, actually, now that I think about it, the little headset is...
Like, it wouldn't be that hard to do.
Yeah, well, what's your idea?
Well, I was gonna give him frog's eyes. Just big, big frog eyes.
I would kind of lean more towards Luca's headset, honestly.
So you got a shine there, a shine there. Hold on, because I already started it, so I'm gonna see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm doing the audio test. It should be good.
I wasn't even aware of this.
Yeah.
Oh god, that looks terrifying.
And then we gotta give him like the little whisker things. Little frog staff.
He looks like he's like stoned.
And then we'll paint him like green.
That looks fucking ridiculous.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
No, that's creepy for one.
I don't think creepy begins to describe.
He looks like he's seen some shit. He's like,
oh god.
That's like,
oh god.
That's like the 1,000 light year stare. I can see the future. I can see the future. I can see the future. It's not pretty. Kirby, I can see the future. It's not pretty. I can see the future.
I feel like this may be an appropriate fucking game for that. You know, if I had a time machine, that's what I would do. I'd go back in time and I'd yell at people.
You're like bleeding.
Am I? Whoa. My psychic powers are too much.
No, you're supposed to like bleed from your eyes and nose when psychic stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
I can see the future.
Yeah.
Let us come to planet Earth in the 65 million BC. Everybody worships him as a god and uses him as an energy source, and then they accidentally wake him up.
But yeah, I'd go back in time if I had a time machine, just walk and be like, I can see the future!
I am your god now. Bring me your virgins.